Alrighty, folks, it is time for the Grand Prix Darkhand Enterprises Top Cut. We are here for the quarterfinals up against a familiar face from round one. It is Split Moon, once again on Xavvac Corruptor Core. If you tuned in for the Swiss matches, you will know this is the one match I lost. And I lost it right at the start of the tournament. I feel like I have a better sense of what this matchup's going to look like than I did going into that match previously, which is to say, I remember going into this matchup and framing it in my head as one in which it was going to be a value showdown. And in some ways, Xavvac can fight a value showdown. But I think what I had underestimated was just how well Xavvac can end the game quickly. So that is something I have to be keenly aware of, and I think I need to be more prepared to fight an early game battle rather than a resource battle. Though this deck can absolutely put me on a resource battle really fast. We've got Innering's Pupil, Corrupt Congressman, Keon Heap Exec, Stratos Sentry, Matter Harvester, Malicious Sky Cleaver. So like they can absolutely put us on the back foot and force us into a really rough resource match. What we're gonna have to do is just force them into it through using removal, using various interactive tools to try and push them on the back foot. So the lesson that I'm carrying, I did not put a sticky note on my computer, but the lesson I'm carrying into this matchup is that I need to mulligan better. I need to mulligan more reliably. If I think a hand doesn't have a coherent game plan, I need to just be prepared to ship it. Also, sorry if the commentary is a little incoherent. I'm admittedly just waking up. Opponent had a pretty busy couple of days. I'm already stumbling all over my words. Pretty busy couple of days, and so this was the time that worked, and I'm going to do what I can to make it work. Oh, no need to roll die. Split Moon is 4th seed. I am 5th seed, so Split Moon's just going to choose player draw. Unfortunately, the only way we're going to get to choose player draw is if we make it to finals. Because the round after this, we know for a fact, is the 1st seed player. So let's make the commander token. Let's get Jack. Yeah, Split confirms they will be on the play. Alrighty. Speaking of hands that kind of have a game plan, Duress with no way to play it turn 1 is awkward. But we can go Cityscape, pitch Junkyard, and go like swamp off Cityscape, grab Forest, and then we could play Forest either second and hold up Inklight Dancer, or we could just Miasmic Cove. I like that. Like this is interaction, and then Skotha is just like a high-end card we really never mind discarding. And if we get to Skotha the fair way, we get to Skotha the fair way. I like this. Definitely ways my opponent could pick apart this hand, but with Duress being the only good hand attack spell on turn 1 right now, and opponent is on Duress, but I think like Duress is just taking Hang here, right? Which I think I'm fine with. The issue with Hang is that it doesn't check Xavvac. So like that is the weakness of this spell in this matchup. We are going to see Duress, so I think this will very likely take our Duress. Let's see what they pick off. It's Hang or Duress. So we have no reason to play coy with this Inklight Dancer or Duress now. They know it's coming. It's possible that they let the Duress stay and take the Hang in part knowing that we can't Duress them turn 1. Which would make drawing a swamp very funny. They're going to take Duress. Okay, Duress trades for Duress. That is perfectly fine. I'm cool to have the removal spell here. It just means that any enchantments or artifacts in their hand could be a little harder to hit. So if their game plan this round is like Earthly Penchants, that's going to be a little more trouble. Or like Offerings to Sky Gods or Borrow. But I think that's ultimately fine. I think those are all slower things that I can deal with over time, comparatively. Mana Harvesters is a pretty great draw to kind of hide here. We're going to run out the Cityscape and pass. Just maintain some mysteries. There is, I believe, a Search Disruption card. Yeah, Route Navigator. If a player would search for one or more cards, they reveal those cards and can't find non-basic cards. That doesn't shut down Redevelop Cityscape. It was Offerings to Sky Gods. Hey, who called it? We will get Swamp to play tapped, exile Junkyard, grab a forest. We will draw, pick up an Alarantan Visionary. I would really like to find lands, but I guess Mana Dorks is close enough. Yeah, no reason to play the Miasmic Cove here because they took the Duress. So let's just go for the forest. And I think I like just running out Mana Harvesters. There's nothing Inklight Dancer accomplishes here. If they play Xavvac next turn, which is very likely, then we get nothing accomplished by just holding up Inklight Dancers to remove a creature that Dancers can't remove. And same with Hangs. So we're just going to run out the Mana Harvesters and pass. Downside with all of this right now is that Harvesters is pretty bad at checking. They're going to take the top card of our library. It's a forest. I wanted that. I was going to say, Harvester's not going to be really good with our particular hand right now. If we had a like multicolored 2-drop, we could get some value out of this. But unfortunately, Harvester is actually a little awkward in our deck. If I recall correctly, we only really have like a couple multicolored spells. This is one of the things that I think I could have improved with deck building. I don't think we get aggressive a lot, but I think I'm just gonna put it in chat and make Split confused as to why I'm talking about it. I think Sunsoaker probably would have played this role a little better. Just for the value of being able to get that attack trigger. They are going to second main and casting Xavvac, so that way Xavvac doesn't just tap here, meaning we can't just get in for a free 1 point of damage. That makes sense. Alrighty. We will untap. We will draw the Path of Finax. I think I'm just happy to run that out, right? Put them down to 2 cards in hand. Yeah, I think I'm very happy to put them down to 2 cards in hand. Miasmic Cove unfortunately means no Jack this turn, but I'm not too bothered by that. Let's path them. So that's going to be 2 cards from hand, 2 cards from deck, and then 5 cards total in their graveyard. And the nice thing is this also tees us up for Hang next turn. They discard Maim, discard Archaic Obelisk, mill Dreg Street Inquisitor, mill Swamp. Discarding the Obelisk seems pretty wise with Path being in play. Just because, like, if they keep the Archaic Obelisk, they risk fueling Path of Finax. Because, okay, so they're taking top card again. It's another forest! Very awkward when I kept a 3-lander and have found no 4th land. I could Alarantan Visionary and try and dig for the 4th untapped land. Because I have seen multiple of my tap lands now. And I could try and go for that plus Hang next turn. Well, we'll have to see what the draw holds for us. Mirage Island for the opponent. Nice thing about Path, we are currently ahead on cards. Okay, this is them tapping Xavvac and not integrating anything. That is great for us. They're holding up 4 mana. What on earth? Artificial Unlife, Damn to Hell can't be cast on 4 mana. In essence, main Spatial Rift, Taste for Malice. They could be holding up Spatial Rift. They could be holding up Taste for Malice. They pitched Maim. So they could be holding up, in essence, Spatial Rift or Taste for Malice here, I think. They could also Spatial Rift the Path of Phynax trigger, but I think, like, just don't put cards in your graveyard and then you're fine. We draw. We find Receive. See how they feel about Path of Phynax here. They are going to take the 2, so we gain 2. Yeah, I think we're just going to go for the Elronton Visionary. If it gets countered, we can just run out Receive here. We do also 1, 2, 3. We could also just spend 2 mana, animate Miasmic Cove. But I feel like we're not really getting anywhere with that. So yeah, let's go for Elronton Visionary, see how they feel about that. Happier to do this than Jack here, both because Jack would be pretty exposed to Xavvac, and also I think in the face of potential, in essence, I am cool to just let this get countered. All right, we're good to resolve the enter trigger. Reveal top 3 non-creature permanent from among them into my hand. Concurrent Escapist, Swamp, and Lifehacker. Well, only 1 non-creature permanent in there anyways, so we will get the Swamp and just play it. I think I'm going to play Receive and swing with the Mana Harvesters. I think I'm cool with Xavvac getting to swing in for a turn. Because if Xavvac swings in for a turn, that's because Xavvac is eating whatever offerings the Sky Gods puts in play. So let's Receive. This is harder for them to check here. We get a K from them. We'll make all tokens, get rid of the subroutine, reminder token, and put it in program A. And then we pass. And we're teed up for Skotha next turn. We are seeing 2 mana Royal Balcony basic land cycle. Okay, so Swamp is known in hand. Interesting. I feel like this tells us a lot of very good things. Will we see a Mirage Island Surveil here? Oh, they're thinking about it. Ooh, oh, that is a very good sign for us. So we are going to see Mirage Island Surveil. If they surveil the graveyard, we could hang a creature other than Xavvac if they put another creature into play, and then guarantee Path of Phynax works for us. Oh, they're changing their mind. Okay, I think they might have seen Path of Phynax as a potential liability if they surveilled the graveyard. Wise call on their part here. Offerings trigger. They're going to take top card of our library. That is our Inner Rings Pupil. So they're going to make a 1/1 construct, and that is one of the 2 Inner Rings Pupils in this matchup gone. They still have one that we could have to worry about, but ours is no longer a problem for them. One exciting thing here is if they don't check our mana dorks, I have the luxury of getting to have Path of Phynax go off and then Skotha it back. And that is going to shred their hand. Enough so where I think I'm still content with just letting Xavvac do its thing. They know Skotha, they know Hang, they know Dancer. Our whole hand is known public information to them. We could also Skotha back the Escapist. Or the Cityscape. Like, we aren't progressing our lands right now. So that is a problem. But yeah, Skotha versus Xavvac, 6 power creatures. Xavvac is really good. I think Skotha's a little better. So let's see what's happening here. Opponent is thinking a little bit. I understand. Some tough choices to make. Again, the hand is full information to them, so they can let that inform their choices here. But we knew the swamp was there, so it's 2 unknowns right now. And we know that what they have in hand is something they could have surveilled away with Mirage Island. They are going to damn to hell our mana dorks. All right, that is going to take Skotha off the line for a little bit, but they can only deal 2 each. Oh, yes, because Royal Balcony. Yeah. Yeah, that is exactly 4. And then I have to assume in that case that is going to be Xavvac integrate the Cyborg punch for 6. On one hand, that takes me off of Skotha. On the other, I don't think I'm too bothered by it. Because ultimately, I have Skotha. I have time to play Skotha. They're not going to integrate. They're just going to keep the Cyborg in play. Alrighty. So we have no clean way to get Path of Phalanx online here, unfortunately, which means we are going to miss out on this trigger. As much as I would love to probably eat the Archaic Obelisk here. But, like, I think missing out on the Obelisk is not that big of a deal. We will draw. Resolve receive first, because maybe we find something that does a little funkiness. We find Barbarous Rough Rider here. View top 2. Primal Fisher, Temple of Origins. My god. I mean, I was thinking about, like, maybe we run out Jack and we just uptick. We could guarantee we're clearing 2 lands if we do that, but that's not necessarily where we want to be. I mean, if we're hanging Xavvac, we want to do so now, while we have the permanent in play to corrupt it. Yeah, I think we're hanging Xavvac in response to Path of Phalanx. Putting Primal Fisher on top. And then Temple of Origins. Move to top. We're keeping both on top. We're letting Primal Fisher get eaten by offerings to Sky Gods, and then we just draw the Temple of Origins next turn. Or we could just, like, receive, draw one of these, and, like, clear the top card of our library for offerings. I think I like binning the Primal Fisher here. In response to Path, we are gonna pick off Xavvac. If they would like to replay it, they can spend their whole turn doing so. Path of Phalanx goes to graveyard, and we are just gonna unattach. Oop, I said unattach. Draw 2. Sifting through, so a little awkward that we're getting that after we play our land here, but an annotation to black and green. And these can go away now. And alrighty. 1 card to our opponent versus 4 cards to us. They can recast Xavvac here. They hit another land. Wow. I feel like on one hand, we're getting really lucky on offerings to Sky Gods, not really getting to generate a lot of bodies. On the other hand, it is very unfortunate for our opponent that so like it's very unfortunate for our opponent that Offerings keeps putting lands in exile for the opponent. It's very unfortunate for us that we keep missing out on land drops because of it. Rough Rider plus Sifting's probably going to be the line next turn, unless we find a land drop. If we find an untapped land, I think, like especially with them choosing to surveil with Mirage Island and them keeping on top, that tells me that they're almost certainly they've got like a direction to go here. I have to imagine it's Xavvac coming back down. 3 mana. 1, 2, 3. Holding up colorless, colorless is pretty smart. Corrupt Congressman. So they're making a pledge. Xavvac Arsenal, but they can just make it a hand attack mode instead. Or sorry, a torment mode instead. We take 1. On colorless, colorless at instant speed. They could taste for Malice. They could Spatial Rift. That is all they have available to them. So Spatial Rift shuts down Skotha. Taste for Malice shuts down Barber's Rough Rider or Inklate Dancer. Let's find out what we find. We found the 6th land. I think we just have to hope that they do not have Spatial Rift here. And if they do have Spatial Rift, they can't afford to kill Skotha with it. So ultimately, we do still get some value here. Like, we do still have Skotha take the last card out of their hand. So, yeah, we gotta go for it. It's time. And I'm no longer thinking about Path of Phenax because they have the 1 card in hand. Yep, they pitch a Chronicle of Extinction. Dear God. Oh, wow, we had really lucky timing on that, huh? All right. I think it's going to be Concurrent Escapist. We just get 2 bodies out of this. That puts us back on the board in a great way. We could Alrontan Visionary instead, but I think I would rather just do that next turn, potentially after Jack. We could also Cityscape or Primal Fisher. Yeah, I think it's just going to be Escapist. So let's set annotation to token and ship on over. Opponent is going to keep eating our library. Urban Explorer means Offerings could make a 1/1 here, but if they do that, then Corrupt Congressman doesn't get to have Death Touch if they recast Xavvac, and Xavvac's all they've got going on. So I think they may forego the body on Offerings to give the Congressman Death Touch. But what they don't know is I will block Skotha in front of the Congressman every time. They are going to make the 1/1. Well, Congressman's definitely not worth getting in with now. They are going to surveil on upkeep. I am just going to do this for them while they surveil. Got the token out for you. They've been a Steadfast Gatekeepers. So they did not know what they were drawing ahead of time. Every time they activate Mirage Island, that puts them further off of Chronicle of Extinction as well. They are going to replay Xavvac, so this is going to be able to block and have Death Touch. We will untap. We will draw. Forest is the draw here. I'm very happy to be finding more lands. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 devotion. We could animate Miasmic Cove here. This counting for devotion is pretty nice. Ooh, actually, I should have. I think we're well past the point of sifting through doing meaningful stuff. I should have held the forest though, in case I wanted to find an avenue to play sifting though. We're going to pay 1, 2, 3, and 4. Unattach Jack. Set counters to 5. Let's mill to Forlorn Path, Ominous Slaughter. Omen's nice here. Alrighty. Yeah. I think the plan's going to be we swing with Skotha, get back Omen, see what they sacrifice, and then we Inklight Dancer if the Cyborg survives or if Xavvac blocks. We Stroke of Light. And then afterwards, we Barbarous Rough Rider off of Escapist and 2 lands. Go to combat and chunk in. Attack trigger. They pitch a Corpse Pyre Fiend. We trigger on Jack. And we will get back Ominous Slaughter. I have to imagine it's this Cyborg going, yup. I think it's going to be 1 and 2 Inklight Dancer kill the Cyborg with Death Touch. And see how they block. Will they trade their commander here? Because we do have Skotha plus Ominous Slaughter. So this is a real long-term problem for them. They are going to trade Xavvac. Okay. We kill Xavvac and drain them for 1. And then let's go on over to main 2. 1, 2, 3. Rough Rider. And they take 2. Low on value in hand. I think this was a turn where I was fine not using the Sifting Through Soot anyways, but it is still awkward that Sifting is sat in hand for so long. Exorcist's going to give them a 1/1. Yeah, we really have to find them a way. We have to find a way to check this offerings to Sky Gods. Them Mirage Islanding here tells me they do not think Xavvac being recast anytime soon is in their future. So pretty keen on seeing that happen. We do have a Jack trigger from them surveilling. Yep. That is pretty great for us. Hitting the Corpse Pyre Fiend as well feels very good just on the basis of denying them a clean path to making a bunch of 1/1s. Stratos Sentry. Choose a non-token creature. They integrate. Let's give them the Concurrent Escapist. And they just replay the Mirage Island because they know we have hand attack in our graveyard. No attacks. This Congressman looking kind of awkward. We will untap counter mana 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. We could crack Omen on upkeep here. Get a Jack trigger. I think I'm just in on sacrificing a land to recasting Skotha, though. 1, 2, 3. We have 8. If we find an untapped land, we could sacrifice Ominous Slaughter up +1 Jack to get the Skotha. So we could also sack Omen and then -3 Jack to get back Skotha without going down a land. But I don't love -3ing Jack while Stratos Sentry is in play. Yeah, I think we're cool to just draw here. We find Disestablishmentarianism. That is going to check the offerings to Sky Gods here. 3 mana to sack that, though, means Jack is not getting back anything like Skotha this turn. What we could do, though... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 3. Lifehacker plus level up is 5. Ooh. I like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do this. +1 Jack targeting Lifehacker. We will cast Lifehacker. Level up the Lifehacker. So it's now a 5/5 lifelinker. Disestablishmentarianism. We take care of the offerings. Split Moon concedes. Oh my goodness. Where was that in round 1? Alrighty. More like that, please. So right into game 2 here. See if the opponent wants to be on play or draw. I have to assume, yeah, on the play. Oh, yeah, let's just get it over there. Swamp, Slink, Omen, Path of Phenax. This is what I'm talking about when I say I should mulligan more aggressively, more comfortably. Is Slink into Ominous Slaughter a good curve? Yeah, it's pretty good. The problem is I have no green sources for this Disestablishmentarianism and this Elrontan Visionary. This Path of Phenax can't be cast. I cannot hang my hopes on trying to find a third land, especially when I could get hit by a turn 1 Duress, take away this Omen, and leave me with pretty much nothing. Because like they could go turn 1 to rest, take the Omen, then I go Rooftop Slink, and then any 2 toughness creature on their turn 2 locks me out of the game. So we have to mull this. Learning to be responsible. This is so much better. This has sort of an opposite problem, but I think we can make this work. We've got 5 lands Harvest Time Disestablishmentarianism. Can they still ruin our day with a Duress by taking the Disestablishmentarianism? Absolutely. But I think what we just do there is we Cityscape on 1, pitch Swamp, go get Forest Swamp, and hold the Forlorn Path to cycle it. And this is at least mana, so we can play the game. Harvest Time can go find us more basics to thin our deck. Disestablishmentarianism checks Xavvac or any cheap enchantments. So I think we're pretty comfy and cozy. We just need to be mindful of getting some value rolling. So, Path never hitting play here. This is destined to be cycled. Rumbling Door means no turn 1. punishment here. Ooh, Root Fossil. Maybe we do play Path on... No, we're not playing Path on 1, but I think maybe we do play an untapped land here. Yeah, we're playing a forest for Root Fossil. Rumbling Door is a problem. That is going to be able to be a clock eventually. I don't think it becomes a clock in any truly pressing manner, but it's worth being offerings in play again. We can at least rig our top deck with Root Fossil so we can control what they hit here. We draw Temple of Origins. Happy to play that here. Set annotation to black and green. And let's crack Root Fossil now. So view top 3. Ozon's Blessing, Inner Ring's Pupil, Miasmic Cove. I think we need to put Blessing on top, Inner Ring's Pupil below that, and then bin the Miasmic Cove. So they eat Blessing with Offerings to Sky Gods, but then we get to go turn 3 Inner Ring's Pupil. And we get to go turn 3 Inner Ring's Pupil hidden from hand attack, which is really big. I wonder if they Offerings themselves here, knowing that we kept 2 on top. They're thinking about it. But the problem is if they Offerings themselves and hit something good, we know that's gone forever. And would they really want to convert their own? They're going to try and take the risk. They hit a swamp, so if they're mana screwed, that's going to feel pretty rough for them. But they dodge us hitting the Ozon's Blessing here. And, I mean, this just means I can Disestablishmentarianism, Harvest Time, nuke Offerings to Sky Gods. Or, actually, I can hold up Ozon's Blessing, and if they... Yeah, if they go for Offerings targeting me... Okay, they are casting Xavvac here. If they go Offerings targeting me, I think I'm cool just... Ozon's Blessing in response. Because then I can still... Then it's also me casting Ozon's Blessing on their upkeep. So I can go get... Nope, not my deck. I can go get Exorcist of Errors. I could get Exorcist. I could get Arduous Miners. I could get... Mana Harvesters. I could get Masksmith. I have lots of options if I hold up the Ozon's Blessing. So we find the Blessing here. We run out the swamp. Let's rearrange lands a little bit because it's black and then green, and that's going to bother me. I think I could also just, like, cycle Forlorn Path. I could run out Disestablishmentarianism, hold up Forlorn Path, cycle for if they target me with Offerings. So that way I know that I'm not losing. Yeah, I think I like that more. Let's just run out the Disestablishmentarianism, make it clear that their permanents are on borrowed time, and then wait to see what they do with Offerings here. They're going to target us, so we are going to cycle Forlorn Path. We draw a card, and they steal a forest. Perfect, as we drew it up. Things just keep coming up our way. I would not be stunned to see our opponent just integrate Offerings to Sky Gods here so they can get in for 6 and gain 6. They don't need to, though. They're going to put it on the Xavvac here, so that way Xavvac already has Death Touch and Lifelink. So that way all they need to do is have Offerings. All they need to do is put any other sort of trinket permanent into play, and they can swing with Xavvac here. Mirror Meld Spire has all abilities of all lands integrated onto permanents they control. So they do have the Swamp ability. They're going to integrate the top card of our library here. Tough Nut. They could make the 1/1 off of Offerings to Sky Gods, but I'm very appreciative that they're clearing that off the top of our library because we need something better. They may have just done that to feed this to Xavvac here. Yeah, that is exactly what's happening. So we're going to take 6. They're going to gain 6. The hill we have to climb has just gotten a little bit higher, but I think we are still fine for the most part. They are passing. Do they have... They do have Omen of Slaughter in their deck. So they have Omen of Slaughter, they have Maim, and that's all they're representing right now with 2 swamps. We untap. We will draw. Failed Gateway, not doing a whole lot here. We can Cityscape and Inner Ring's Pupil. We could Cityscape, hold up Blessing, and Disestablishmentarianism. I think I like Blessing Disestablishmentarianism a little more. Let's play Cityscape and just ship on over. They're going to hit us again. Let's let them have it. Life Hacker, no! Oh, tragedy. I guess if we really were concerned about it, we could have life hackered for masks. Or sorry, we could have Ozon's Blessinged for Masksmith in response to offerings, because there is a risk that they hit the Masksmith, and then we can't Ozon's Blessing for it anymore. But I think I'm fine. So Xavvac here, they could just integrate the Cyborg and get things rolling. They are at 5 lands, so Xavvac getting gotten here does mean they can just replay Xavvac. They're going to go to start a combat, integrate, swing in. I think we are going to get rid of Xavvac here. So we clear Xavvac. Gives them the option to recast Xavvac here, but then we can just Ozon's Blessing for Masksmith. 1, 2 for Archaic Obelisk. Very happy to see that with Jack up. Have to imagine they want to do that here. Was pretty heads up of them to clear the, or to try and pressure the disestablishmentarianism to go for Archaic Obelisk here. That is a pretty clean line of play. They mill Swamp. Keon is probably what they're going to spend that charge counter on here. I have to imagine there is no world where they do not just take Keon here. Yup. Let's Blessing. So they're holding up 3 mana. We could get hit by an Essence on our opponent's turn. We could get hit by a removal spell here if we go find something that we need to untap with. But I think if that's the case, we just Morbid Bloomer. So we get Morbid Bloomer, we swing in for 3, we can pay 1, rebuy the Disestablishmentarianism, and then just pick off the offerings. I like that. So it's either that or we Pressuring Ghoul here. If we Pressuring Ghoul, we can crack Cityscape. We get 2 land drops here. Yeah, I think it's just gonna be Morbid Bloomer here. So let's go find more lands. Forest to play tapped. Exile Swamp from hand to get a swamp. Just asking if I am good to untap. Opponent says, yeah. Let's do so. We draw Duress. Ooh. Ooh. Interesting. Let's play the Swamp. I think we will Duress them. Let's see what's going on over there. They are going to maim Morbid Bloomer in response here. Sure. Malicious Skycleaver, Keon, Phoenix's Touch, Killing in the Name of. I see. Pretty good suite of cards here. Phoenix's Touch is just always ripping this Failed Gateway out of our hand, because, like, we have nothing that this kills right now. I think we just take Killing and develop Jack here, right? Like, there is no downside to doing that. They have no pressure on Jack right now. Take Killing. So we know they've got Keon and Malicious Skycleaver. Those are some pretty big Haymaker cards here. One, two, three, four. We unattach Jack. Uptick to 5. Mill all that remains, Aspect of the End. So we ping for 1. And then we can just hold up all that remains now instead. I think we do still just go for Harvest Time here. Let's just Harvest Time. Go find a swamp. And we'll pass. I think if they offerings and, like, start pushing wide, we can hold on to the Failed Gateway. Barbarous Rough Rider, they do get to make a 1/1 here. If they Phoenix's Touch and we just, like, discard the Swamp rather than the Failed Gateway, that's pretty fine as well. If they have a land drop, they could go Keon and Phoenix's Touch here. 4 mana. What is happening? Oh, they're animating Rumbling Door. I see. Get Jack down to 2. And that's all they're doing this turn. Interesting. We untap and draw our own Skycleaver. All right, that is something, huh? Yeah, I think we are paying 3 life into Skycleaver here. That puts them off of Keon, puts them off of Skycleaver. Ooh, that's really not good for them. We'll play Swamp. Yeah, we will still just Harvest Time here. View library. Go find a forest. Set counters to 4. We mill over Hardy Rough Rider, Rooftop Slink. We gain 1, deal 1. And I will raise your Skycleaver with a Skycleaver. And that is lands down here. That's also their only other colorless source, so they can no longer Mirror Meld Spire. And suddenly things are slipping away from the opponent. They can't cast Xavvac either, so they have offerings and nothing else. They do keep hitting creatures with offerings, at least. It is starting to turn around for them. But I think it might just be too little too late. They are going to duress me here. All right. So we know Duress was one of their last two draws. Yep, they're going to take the gateway. That is perfectly fine by me. And they know that Fenix's Touch is just hitting this land here. 2-mana Dissect Intel. Okay. Yeah, they're taking Pupil and integrating onto offerings to make a second 1/1, I guess. All right, so now they can Fenix's Touch this forest out of hand. Put us to no resources. But we do know everything in their hand. I think you got a Fenix's Touch. I know you lose a life instead of me losing a life by hitting Jack, but right now this forest represents a creature from my graveyard. Like, it represents me getting to recast this Morbid Bloomer or Rooftop Slink. They are going to Fenix's Touch. Yep. Alrighty. We are pretty all in here. I think the single greatest thing I could draw would be Path of Phoenix. Just, like, take these two cards out of their hand and get a Jack trigger and start just tearing away. We will untap. We will draw. Mana Harvester's not quite that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do have enough mana to animate Miasmic Cove for 1. We could... I think I kind of like just keeping it slow here. Let's +2 here. We mill Downlink Overload and Pull of Tizerus. And then let's Root Fossil and Mana Harvesters. 1, 2, 3. Make a Reborn Lily. 1, 2. Run out Mana Harvesters. And get in for 4. If they have Keon, they have Keon, but I think it might be more of a liability than an advantage if they flip cheap cards. And I'm just holding up the Miasmic Cove. I probably could have gotten in with it. Ominous Slaughter. So that is out of the equation. Yeah, I should have just swung with Miasmic Cove as well. Little bit on autopilot. No biggie. They did find the 5th land, so Keon is online here. Keon Heap Exec. Swamp Stratos Sentry, so they take 3 here. Stratos Sentry is going to probably force us to lose this Mana Harvesters. And Swamp gives them the Malicious Skycleaver next turn. Skycleaver is actually really rough because they can pay 4 life, deal 4 to everything, and then have Keon survive. So that is a problem. We will untap and draw. Concurrent Escape is not what we need to find here. I think we are in on All That Remains, discarding Concurrent Escapist. We gain 1, deal 1. Yep. View top 3. Fenix's Touch, Profane Grove, Time Worn Crags. We could Time Worn and just go all in on picking off this Mirror Meld Spire to put them off of Malicious Skycleaver, but they have a Keon in play, so I don't think that's a really good long-term plan. I think we've got to take the Touch and then just find something with it. So Fenix's Touch. We know all 3 cards in their hand are permanents, so they're going to take 2. We're going to gain 1 here. Yeah, we just keep digging. We put them to 14. Every trigger puts Keon in a worse spot here. Temple of Malady not going to cut it. We can pitch Temple. Cast Morbid Bloomer. I like that. Uptick. Target Morbid Bloomer. Discard Temple of Malady. Yeah. So we get Morbid Bloomer. See how things go here. I would not be surprised to see them take this opportunity to trade Keon for the Miasmic Cove, but they are going to just take 4 here and lose the Cyborg. Which I think if they're aiming for Skycleaver next turn, they have the land, they have the Skycleaver. I think that makes sense. They are going to integrate our library here. Forest. Presumably on the Keon here. That is, in fact, what's happening. I wonder if they Xavvac eat the Phynax's Touch just for the sake of giving Keon lifelink here. They are going to go for the Skycleaver. So Skycleaver pay 4. They go to 4. They go to 3. That is a real risky play here. Because they swing Keon here. They could die to this attack trigger. Flip top 2. Oh, no reveal? Yeah. It is a May. So Jack down to 2, but we are in a really good position here. We have a couple draws we could find that really put us in a good spot. We have... we have Jack +1 recast Skycleaver pay 5 life. That puts them to 1. If we find an untapped land, that kills them. Untap, draw, receive. Does receive change things? We have one more permanence. Yeah, I think that does change things pretty significantly because we can uptick Jack, sacrifice a land to play Cityscape. That's going to do it. Self-sacrificing permanent was all we needed. One or more permanent cards. So we will sacrifice receive here. We draw 1, 2. Inklight Dancer is just the rub-ins at this point. And that cuts it. We beat Xavvac in the rematch 2-0. GG's to Split Moon. Tough matchup, and I'm glad I knew how to reposition myself for this round. We are in on the semifinals. It's going to be a tough one. We're up against one of the boogeymen of the format. So we'll see how that shakes out. If you are excited to see that match, I will try and get it to you all as soon as I can. Otherwise, if you have not seen it already, the next set joining Revolution is on the horizon. Exalts of Twiltree coming into the format at the turn of the month. So start of September, you're going to see some Exalts of Twiltree joining the field, and then we're going to have Theros Age of Tracks rotating out. So it's going to be no more Miasmic Cove, no more Temple of Malady. No more Finax's Touch or Path of Finax or Pull of Tizerus as well. Those are big ones. So we're losing some big stuff, but we're getting some pretty big stuff. We'll see how the format shakes out from there. If you'd like to check out that set review, link is in the description below. Otherwise, I'm excited to dive into the semifinals to see if we can fight through a profoundly difficult matchup. And I will catch you all there. Take care, everyone, and I will see you in the Revolution chat. Bye-bye.